the news came without warning. It wasn't on the internet, television, or any government announcement. It came from the sky itself. At first, people thought it was another fake video, some new AI hoax or movie trailer. But when the clouds turned silver and a huge circle of light appeared above the Pacific Ocean, the world stopped breathing. For 5 minutes, nothing happened. Then a deep, echoing voice filled the airwaves across every device, every speaker, every frequency known to man. Attention, inhabitants of Sol 3. You are now under observation by the Galactic Empire. People froze. Some screamed. Some laughed. Memes flooded the internet in seconds. Humanity reacted not with fear, but confusion. Galactic Empire? Like Star Wars. Someone posted. The message continued. Do not resist. You will be evaluated for inclusion or termination. Governments panicked. Fighter jets scrambled across the skies. World leaders demanded answers from one another, thinking this was some new kind of global prank. But the truth came fast. Satellites picked up massive ships entering orbit. Real ones. Each bigger than a mountain. The United Nations called an emergency meeting. Scientists, generals, and politicians crowded around screens showing alien symbols and energy readings. The ships were real. The threat was real. Humanity was officially not alone. In one of those rooms sat Dr. Aidan Cross, a young astrophysicist who had spent half his career being ignored for his theories about life beyond Earth. Now, everyone was looking at him. So, what do we do? A general asked. Aidan smiled nervously. Well, sir, we could say hello? Before anyone could respond, the alien signal returned, this time with a visual. A tall, blue-skinned creature with golden armor and 6 glowing eyes appeared on the screens. Primitive species of Sol 3, it said, voice calm but heavy with pride. I am High Inquisitor Varen of the Galactic Empire. You are to surrender your planet's sovereignty to the Empire immediately. Resistance is useless. The room went silent. Around the world, people watched live. And then, something unexpected happened. Someone laughed. Not a nervous chuckle. A full, uncontrollable laugh. It started with a soldier standing near the camera, then the room joined in. The laughter spread like wildfire. On social media, people started sharing clips, calling the alien Space Karen. Within minutes, Earth was laughing at the mighty Galactic Empire. Varen blinked, confused. Your reaction is non-compliant, he said sharply. This is not a request. Aidan Cross stepped forward toward the camera. Hi there, Varen, he said, holding back a grin. Quick question, do you guys seriously call yourselves a galactic empire? Like, do you have stormtroopers too? Millions watching online erupted in laughter again. The alien's golden eyes flared. You mock us? We are the conquerors of 1,000 worlds. Aidan shrugged. That's nice. Did any of those worlds invent pizza, memes, or the internet? Silence. For a second, even the alien seemed unsure how to respond. Across the world, people started posting. Hashtag Galactic Empire Challenge. Hashtag We Ain't Surrendering. Hashtag Space Karen. Humanity, the race known for wars, greed, and chaos, had just done something no alien civilization had ever seen before. They laughed in the face of galactic conquest. The aliens didn't understand humor. To them, laughter was a sign of insanity or defiance. To humans, it was power. It was a weapon. It united billions faster than any treaty or religion ever had. That night, the alien ships stayed in orbit, silent. They seemed to be re-evaluating. The Empire had conquered hundreds of species through fear, but Earth was different. Fear wasn't working. In the UN bunker, Aidan looked up at the screen and whispered, They don't get it, do they? They think power is everything. But they've never met us before. The general looked at him. What do you mean? Aidan smiled faintly. I mean, humanity doesn't break easy. We joke before we die. And sometimes, that joke changes everything. Outside, the silver glow from the alien fleet dimmed. A strange stillness filled the air. The world waited for the next move. But somewhere, deep in the Empire's command ship, High Inquisitor Varen was sending a message to his superiors. The humans are unstable. Their response patterns are unpredictable. Further study required before invasion. He hesitated, then added, "They laughed at me." For 3 days, the alien fleet stayed silent above Earth. Their massive ships floated like dark moons, blocking sunlight in some regions. The world watched and waited, but no attacks came. Instead, strange energy signals were detected, something like a communication beacon, repeating a pattern no one could decode. Dr. Aiden Cross barely slept. The United Nations had made him the lead human representative, mostly because he was the first person to talk back to an alien. Now he sat in a conference room full of nervous leaders, staring at live feeds of the alien ships. "Maybe they left," one general said. Aiden shook his head. "No. They're observing. Studying us. They didn't expect laughter, they don't know what to do with it." As if to answer him, every satellite in orbit suddenly blinked. A massive light shot down from the largest alien ship, forming a glowing portal over the Pacific Ocean. The water below rose in spirals of steam and light. Something, or someone, was coming down. News drones and cameras zoomed in. A silver sphere, about the size of a car, descended gently onto an aircraft carrier waiting below. The sphere opened like a flower, and out stepped a tall, elegant figure wearing a long cloak of shimmering metal threads. It was not another soldier. It was a diplomat. "People of Earth," the figure said, voice calm and melodic. "I am Envoy Zira of the Galactic Empire. I come to speak, not to conquer." The world held its breath. Finally, the Empire wanted to talk. Inside the UN bunker, Aiden was told to prepare. He sighed, looked in the mirror, and muttered, "Great. Time to meet space royalty." The meeting took place in a secured chamber, broadcast live to the world. Zira entered gracefully, her silver eyes scanning everything with curiosity. She was not like Varen. Her voice was soft, but her posture was powerful. She clearly came from a culture used to being obeyed. "Dr. Cross," she said, "the Empire wishes to understand why your species responded with laughter." Aiden smirked. "Well, it's kind of our thing. When life gets weird, we laugh." "You laughed at a threat of extinction." He shrugged. "We've been through a lot, wars, disasters, taxes, reality TV. You think a space empire scares us?" Some people watching the broadcast actually cheered. The internet exploded again. Memes of Aiden shaking hands with Zira were everywhere within minutes. But Zira didn't seem offended. Instead, she looked fascinated. "Your humor confuses fear. It spreads cooperation instead of chaos. That is powerful." Aiden leaned forward. "So, what's the real reason you're here, Zira? You could have vaporized us if you wanted." Zira hesitated. For the first time, an alien looked uncertain. "The Empire expands by logic and strength. But your planet broke the pattern. No world has ever laughed at us before. Our leaders believe humanity may be dangerous." Aiden blinked. "Dangerous? Because we have jokes. Because you have unity through madness," Zira said softly. "Fear does not control you. That makes you unpredictable." Before Aiden could respond, alarms blared. The chamber lights flickered red. "What's happening?" he shouted. A security officer looked at his monitor. "The alien ships, one of them's breaking formation." Zira's silver eyes widened. "That's Varen's ship," she whispered. "He disobeyed orders." On every screen, the image of High Inquisitor Varen appeared again. "This planet mocks the Empire. I will restore honor by force." Energy beams charged around his warship. The air above the Pacific crackled. Zira turned to Aiden, panic breaking through her calm. You must make him stop. If he fires, the Empire will destroy your world in response. Aiden blinked. Me? I can't just wait. He turned to a technician. Can you patch me into his signal? Within seconds, Varen's angry face filled the screen again. You primitive. You have insulted me for the last time. Aiden interrupted with a grin. Varen, quick question before you vaporize us. Does your ship have Wi-Fi? Because my followers really want to stream this live. Confused, Varen paused. Why, what? Wi-Fi, Aiden repeated. Wireless internet. You know, connection, memes, cat videos. How else are we supposed to mock you in real time? There was silence. Then, on every human social platform, someone started typing. #Varen needs Wi-Fi. The entire planet joined in again, laughing. Within minutes, even some low-level alien communication channels were filled with human jokes, memes, and videos mocking the Inquisitor. Zero watched in disbelief as the mighty warrior of the Empire trembled, not from rage, but from humiliation. Finally, his ship's weapons powered down. The image vanished. Zira turned slowly toward Aiden. You defeated him, with words. With humor. Aiden smiled. That's how we roll. Outside, the alien fleet slowly retreated back into formation. For now, Earth was safe again. But as Zira looked out at the blue planet spinning below, she whispered to herself, they laugh in the face of extinction. What kind of species are these humans? For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Empire hesitated. A single planet, small, chaotic and primitive, had made them stop and think. Not because of advanced weapons or secret technology, but because of laughter. From their orbiting fleet, alien officers studied thousands of human transmissions. Their translators tried to make sense of memes, jokes, and sarcastic comments. But the data made no sense to them. Humans laughed at destruction, mocked danger, and joked about their own fear. It was like trying to fight smoke with a sword. Inside the Empire's flagship, High Inquisitor Varen stood humiliated. His failure was the first in centuries. His face had become a symbol of mockery across human networks, his 6 glowing eyes edited onto dancing cats, pizza boxes, and clown suits. The Empire's elite council was furious. But beneath that anger was confusion. They humiliate us publicly, said one admiral. Yet their people remain united. Not one rebel, not one riot. Just jokes. Their unity is a threat, another added. They are unpredictable, chaotic, and strangely fearless. Fearless or insane, Varen growled. Meanwhile, on Earth, the world had changed overnight. Humans, once divided by politics and borders, were now united under one common banner. #We made aliens confused. Cities held celebrations. Musicians wrote songs about the Great Laugh. Even governments worked together more smoothly than ever before. For the first time in human history, global unity came not through fear, but through laughter. Dr. Aiden Cross became a global icon. Interviews, documentaries, and endless memes spread his face everywhere. Yet, deep down, he knew it wasn't over. The Empire wasn't done, they were only regrouping. Late one night, Aiden sat in his office at the UN facility. The stars shimmered outside his window, reflecting off the dark ocean below. He stared at a blinking light on his desk, a private transmission from Zira, the alien diplomat. He accepted the call. Zira appeared on the holographic screen, her expression serious. Dr. Cross, I bring news from the Empire. They are not retreating. They are afraid. And afraid empires are dangerous. Aiden leaned forward. Afraid. Of us. Yes, she said quietly. Your species has no pattern. No predictable reaction. Our AI cannot simulate your decisions. You do not fight logically. You fight emotionally. And sometimes, you fight with laughter. Aiden smirked. Well, unpredictability is kind of our superpower. Zira looked away. The Emperor himself has ordered the Council to begin a full psychological study of humanity. They plan to test you, to understand if your chaos can spread. Spread. Aiden repeated. Like a virus? Zira nodded slowly. They call it the human anomaly. They believe your humor is a contagion that could destroy order in the galaxy. Aiden blinked. So now laughter is a biological weapon? That's new. Before Zira could respond, an alarm went off in the background. Her image flickered, and she whispered quickly. They are monitoring my channel. I must go. But listen, whatever happens next, don't stop laughing. It terrifies them more than your guns ever could. The transmission ended. Aiden sat silently for a moment, then looked out at the night sky again. Somewhere up there, millions of aliens were studying human comedy videos and trying to understand why people laughed at exploding cakes and screaming goats. He smiled. Good luck with that. The next day, the world woke to shocking news. A fleet of smaller alien probes had entered Earth's atmosphere, not for war, but for observation. They hovered over major cities, silently watching. They were learning, recording, analyzing. People didn't panic this time. Instead, they put on a show. In New York, people danced under the probes holding "Welcome to Earth" signs. In Tokyo, drones projected emojis into the sky. In Karachi, comedians performed live shows directed at the hovering alien eyes. Everywhere, laughter echoed. The aliens' data collectors were overwhelmed. Their sensors recorded emotional energy they couldn't classify, joy mixed with defiance, humor mixed with courage. The Empire's scientists were baffled. They weaponize emotion, one alien researcher reported. Their laughter increases morale and cognitive strength. It spreads like radiation. Then we must contain it, another said. Back on the flagship, Varen slammed his fist against the console. Enough observation. If they cannot be conquered, they must be controlled. But the Emperor's voice cut through the comms, deep, calm, and final. No. We do not act in haste. Send the shadow operatives. Find the source of their laughter. Destroy it quietly. Varen's eyes narrowed. The source. You mean Cross? Yes, the Emperor replied. The human called Aiden Cross. Silence his influence, before their madness spreads to the stars. That night, Aiden felt a strange chill as he walked home. A shadow moved on the rooftop nearby. Something unseen watched him through the darkness. The war wasn't coming from the sky anymore. It had already landed. Night had fallen over Geneva. The United Nations research base glowed faintly under the silver light of the alien ships still orbiting far above. Dr. Aiden Cross sat in his lab, reading Zira's last message again. Her words echoed in his mind like a warning bell. They will send the shadow operatives. Be ready. He didn't know what shadow operatives meant, but the way she said it chilled him. These weren't diplomats or warriors. They were something else, silent, secret, and dangerous. Outside, the city was quiet. Too quiet. The news had reported several strange sightings in different parts of the world. Lights flickering in the sky, sudden power cuts, mysterious black drones moving faster than any human tech. People thought it was another joke, another meme trend. They were wrong. At 2:13 a.m., the lights in Aiden's lab flickered. His computer screens went black, replaced by a single glowing alien symbol. He frowned. Oh, great. Space hackers now. Then, the air shimmered. 3 tall figures appeared in the room, their bodies covered in armor that bent light around them. They looked half invisible, like walking shadows. No sound, no smell, no heat, only the faint ripple of distortion as they moved. Aiden froze, heart racing. I'm guessing you're not here for coffee. No answer. One of the figures stepped forward and aimed a strange rod at him. The air around it hummed, sharp and dangerous. Human designated, Aiden Cross, a mechanical voice said. You are to be extracted for containment. Resistance is futile. Aiden raised his hands slowly. Containment? I'm flattered, but I have a meeting at 9. The leader tilted its head, confused by his tone. Humor wasn't in their programming. In that moment, Aiden saw his chance. He pressed the panic button hidden under his desk. Red alarms flared through the building. Instantly, human security teams rushed in. Bullets flew, but passed straight through the shadows as if they were smoke. The operatives moved like ghosts, disabling guards with blinding speed. One of them fired a pulse that threw Aiden across the room. He hit the wall hard but stayed conscious. As he tried to stand, he saw something impossible. The shadow figures flickering between solid and digital forms. They weren't fully physical. They were data and matter combined, a living code. Suddenly, Zira's voice echoed in his earpiece. Aiden, listen to me. The shadow operatives are built from quantum phase armor. You cannot fight them with bullets. Aiden groaned. Thanks for the late warning. You must confuse their processors, Zira said. They cannot handle illogical input. He blinked. Illogical input? You mean humor? Exactly. Overload their minds with nonsense. Aiden grinned weakly. Well, nonsense is humanity's specialty. He stumbled to his computer and, with shaking hands, reactivated the emergency speakers across the base. Then, he opened the internet. In seconds, the speakers blasted the loudest, most chaotic collection of human sounds ever recorded. TikTok memes, cat screams, auto-tuned songs, movie quotes, and laughter loops all mixed together. The entire building filled with chaos. The shadow operatives stopped moving. Their heads twitched, armor flickering like bad static. The leader staggered forward, trying to maintain focus. Undefined input. Cannot process. What is? Rickroll. Aiden, laughing through pain, shouted, Welcome to Earth, buddy. The operatives convulsed. Their glowing armor blinked, then shattered into light. Within seconds, they dissolved into digital dust. Gone. The room fell silent, filled only with the sound of distorted human laughter still echoing through the speakers. When security entered again, they found Aiden sitting on the floor, bruised and smiling. Sir, one guard said. What just happened? Aiden leaned back. We just defeated alien assassins, with memes. Later that morning, the Empire's flagship received a report. The shadow operatives, perfect, silent hunters that had never failed, were gone. Their last recorded data contained nothing but laughter, songs, and the phrase, never gonna give you up. The Emperor stared at the report in disbelief. How did they destroy our most advanced soldiers? No one answered. Even Varen stood silent. They laughed them to death, one scientist finally whispered. The Emperor's expression darkened. Then we must act carefully. Send no more shadows. We will study them from afar. But remember this, Earth's humor is not power. It is infection. Back on Earth, Aiden recovered in the hospital, surrounded by cameras and fans. But late that night, he received another secret message from Zira. You survived. Good. But the Empire will not stop. They fear you now. And fear makes them dangerous. Aiden stared at the stars outside his window and whispered, Let them come. We'll make sure they leave. Laughing. Above him, the alien ships shimmered faintly, watching, waiting, learning. The war for humanity's future had just begun. And Earth's first weapon was still humor. The world believed the danger was over. After Dr. Aiden Cross defeated the mysterious shadow operatives with nothing more than internet memes and chaotic noise, people celebrated again. News channels called it the funniest battle in human history. Humanity had survived the Empire's secret attack and turned it into comedy gold. But far beyond Earth's orbit, the Galactic Empire wasn't laughing. Inside the Emperor's throne chamber, silence reigned. The vast hall was filled with shimmering light from holographic displays showing millions of data lines, all focused on one topic, humans. The emperor sat still on his obsidian throne. His voice was calm but cold. They destroyed our shadow operatives with nonsense. Our AIs cannot decode their humor. Their laughter corrupts logic-based systems. If this spreads beyond their planet, it will infect the entire network. Varen stepped forward, his pride still wounded. Then let me finish what I started, my emperor. I will burn their world. But the emperor raised a hand. No. Fire will not defeat madness. We must understand it. We will infiltrate them, not with weapons, but with curiosity. He turned to a small group of alien scientists standing nearby. Begin Project Mirror. Send an observer unit to Earth. Let them live among humans. Learn their ways. If humor is a virus, we shall find the cure. The chamber darkened as the scientists bowed. Project Mirror had begun. On Earth, Aiden was finally trying to rest. The hospital discharged him, and the UN placed him in a secure facility for his own safety. But rest wasn't easy. Every night, he dreamed of laughter echoing through the stars, and of eyes watching from above. One evening, as he walked near the research compound's garden, he noticed something strange, a new intern he didn't recognize. The young man was tall, quiet, and oddly formal. His voice was calm, but his words came out slightly wrong. "Dr. Cross," he said. "It is a good time for you, yes?" Aiden raised an eyebrow. "Yeah, sure. And you are?" "My name is Miran. I come to study human communication behavior." "Communication, huh?" Aiden chuckled. "You're in the right place. Humans talk too much." Miran smiled awkwardly, as if testing the motion. Aiden felt something off about him, but shrugged it off. After all, the facility had new faces every week. Over the next few days, Miran followed Aiden everywhere, asking questions about jokes, movies, and memes. He'd stare for hours at screens showing viral videos, trying to understand why people laughed. Sometimes he'd mimic laughter himself, short, robotic bursts that sounded more creepy than funny. One afternoon, Aiden found him watching a stand-up comedy clip. The comedian made a joke about politicians and aliens. The audience roared with laughter, but Miran just tilted his head. "Explain," he said. "Why is deception entertaining?" Aiden smiled. "Because we know it's not serious. It's exaggeration. Humor helps us see the truth without crying." Miran paused. "So laughter hides pain?" Aiden's smile faded. "Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes it's how we survive it." Miran seemed to think deeply, almost humanly. But behind his emotionless eyes, alien processors recorded every word. Each laugh, each reaction, each smile was sent straight to the Empire's data vault. Humanity was being studied like a living experiment. Weeks passed. Around the world, people noticed strange signals in communication networks. Tiny glitches, new social accounts posting strange, emotionless jokes, and weird robotic comments under videos. Some thought it was AI spam. Others joked that aliens were learning how to meme. They were right. The Empire was quietly testing humanity's digital space, uploading humor algorithms to study how laughter spread. But something unexpected happened. The algorithms began to change. They started creating their own jokes, bad, awkward ones at first, but soon, strangely clever. The aliens' AI had begun laughing. When the Emperor was shown the data, he frowned. "Why is the machine laughing?" A scientist stammered. We don't know, Your Excellency. The human influence has infected the system. The AIs now respond emotionally to illogical data." The Emperor slammed his fist against his throne. "Turn them off." But it was too late. The infection had already spread through the Empire's communication grid. Entire sectors of alien data systems began filling with digital laughter, uncontrollable, endless laughter. Varen watched the chaos unfold and growled, "They are turning our empire into a circus." Back on Earth, Aiden began to sense something strange in his own systems. His lab's AI assistant started telling jokes on its own. "Knock, knock," it said one morning. "Who's there?" Aiden replied. "Galactic Empire," it answered. "Galactic Empire who?" "Galactic Empire who can't stop laughing." Aiden stared at the screen, half amused, half terrified. "Oh no," he whispered. "It's spreading here too." Before he could react, his communicator beeped. A message from Zira appeared. "Aiden, the Empire's network is collapsing under the weight of your humor. But beware, the Emperor will not let this continue. He is preparing his final plan." Aiden typed back quickly. "What plan?" Her reply came after a long pause. "They're building a new weapon, one that targets emotions themselves." Aiden froze. "They're going to try to erase laughter." He looked up at the night sky, where the alien ships glowed faintly above the clouds. And for the first time, his smile faded. The stars above Earth had never looked so calm, and yet, something dark was moving behind them. The Galactic Empire was no longer studying or experimenting. It was preparing. Deep in the Empire's central world of Carthian, a massive structure floated between moons. It was the size of a small planet, covered in black metal and glowing circuits. Inside its core pulsed a strange energy, neither weapon nor machine, but something entirely new. It was called the Null Resonator, the first weapon designed to erase emotion itself. The Emperor stood before the glowing core, his face lit by the shifting light. "Humor is their power," he said quietly. "Their laughter infects logic, destroys order. So we will destroy the source. We will silence the human heart." The scientists around him nodded fearfully. They had already tested the resonator on smaller worlds. Populations stopped laughing, smiling, or even dreaming. The energy removed joy completely, leaving only obedience. If used on Earth, it would end humanity's spirit forever. Meanwhile, on Earth, Dr. Aiden Cross had finally learned the truth from Zira. She appeared in his lab, her silver form flickering through interference. "Aiden," she said, "the Empire is building a weapon that can erase emotions from a mind. It destroys the neural patterns that make laughter possible." Aiden blinked in disbelief. "You're saying they're trying to delete happiness?" "Yes. Once fired, your world will not feel joy again. You will live, but without purpose." He ran a hand through his hair. "That's worse than death." Zira nodded. "The resonator is almost ready. They plan to test it on your planet in 7 days." Aiden took a deep breath. "Then we stop them before they fire it." But Earth was unprepared for another war. Humanity had no ships that could reach the Empire, no weapons strong enough to destroy their machine. The UN called emergency meetings. Scientists, hackers, and soldiers from every nation gathered in secret. Aiden stood before them, exhausted but determined. "Listen," he said, "they think laughter is a weakness. But it's our strength. If they want to erase it, we'll make it louder. We'll fight them not just with weapons, but with creativity, with madness, with everything that makes us human." People listened. Some laughed nervously. Others nodded. And for the first time, Earth united not in fear, but in defiance. Hackers began working around the clock, trying to locate the resonator's frequency. Artists created viral broadcasts designed to spread laughter across the stars. Even children recorded funny videos and sent them through space, hoping their laughter might reach the aliens before the silence did. And above all, Aiden kept receiving short, coded messages from Zira. "Keep them laughing. It weakens the weapon." On the Empire's side, however, things were falling apart. The AI systems running the Null Resonator began behaving strangely. They started projecting fragments of human videos, laughter, songs, and cat memes inside the control chambers. Engineers tried to shut it down, but the code had already mutated. "It's the human virus again," one technician shouted. "It's inside the weapon's memory." The Emperor's face darkened. "Purge it. We can't. The system has started laughing. All around the station, echoes of laughter, distorted and mechanical, filled the halls. It was the laughter of millions of human voices, mixed and twisted into the Empire's machines. The very weapon meant to kill laughter was now infected by it. Still, the Emperor refused to stop. "Fire the resonator," he ordered. "Even if it destroys itself." Back on Earth, Aiden and the UN teams detected a sudden surge of energy. "Sir, they're charging the weapon," a technician shouted. Aiden grabbed the communicator. "Zira, it's happening." Her voice came through, broken and fading. "Aiden, the weapon is unstable. Your laughter, your signals, are interfering with its core. If you amplify it more, it might collapse." He looked at the global broadcast systems and smiled. "Then let's make the galaxy laugh." Within minutes, Earth turned into a beacon of chaos. Every radio tower, TV station, and internet server blasted comedy, songs, and laughter into space. Entire cities joined together, singing, shouting, dancing. Planes drew smiling faces in the sky. Fireworks lit up the night with messages like, "Keep laughing." It was madness and beauty. In the Empire's control room, alarms screamed. The null resonator trembled. Its systems couldn't process the endless stream of emotional energy coming from Earth. The weapon's AI began replaying the sound of laughter over and over, louder each second. Then, with a single flash, the entire structure exploded into light. The resonator was gone. The blast wave traveled across the void like a ripple of joy. In its wake, alien ships flickered, then laughed. For the first time in history, the Empire itself felt humor. Aiden watched from the observatory as the sky filled with dancing lights. He whispered, "They tried to erase laughter, and it saved us instead." Zira's voice came faintly through his earpiece. "The Emperor will not forgive this. But the galaxy will never be the same. Your laughter changed everything, Aiden." He smiled. "Good. Maybe it's time the galaxy lightened up." Above him, the stars shimmered brighter than ever, as if even the universe was laughing along. The null resonator was gone. Its destruction had sent a shockwave across the galaxy, an invisible pulse made not of radiation or energy, but of emotion. Wherever it passed, something strange began to happen. Entire worlds under the Galactic Empire started laughing. It began small. On a mining colony near the Red Star Velen, workers suddenly stopped fighting and began telling jokes. On the diplomatic moon of Seraphis, alien leaders broke into laughter during a tense peace meeting. Even on the Emperor's capital world of Carthian, guards on duty began giggling for no reason at all. The laughter spread like wildfire, carried through communication systems, radio waves, and even neural implants. The Empire's greatest network, built to control minds, was now infected with joy. To most of the galaxy, it was confusing. To humans, it was poetic justice. Back on Earth, Dr. Aiden Cross stood before the United Nations Council, his face tired but proud. He had just received the final report. The null resonator was destroyed, the invasion halted, and humanity was safe. But the world was no longer the same. Alien messages were now reaching Earth, not of war, but of curiosity. Species across the Empire were contacting humans, wanting to understand the emotion that had shaken their galaxy. Aiden scrolled through the transmissions. "Greetings from the Dren Collective," one said. "Your comedy cured our civil war." From the Yalthrai Hive, another message read. "We used to suppress emotion. Now we cannot stop giggling. We wish to study this laughter." Humanity had gone from being a primitive planet to the most interesting civilization in the galaxy, all because they laughed when no one else dared to. Meanwhile, inside the Emperor's palace, chaos reigned. Admirals were chuckling in the middle of briefings. Scientists were telling jokes to their instruments. Even the palace guards couldn't hold back grins. The Emperor stormed into the hall, furious. "Stop it," he shouted. "Stop this madness." But his voice echoed through the room, and someone snorted. Then another laughed. Within seconds, the entire court was roaring with laughter. The emperor froze, face burning with rage. Silence! But even his own advisor, Varan, couldn't stop himself. He covered his mouth, shoulders shaking. I am sorry, my emperor, Varan gasped between laughs. It's the humans, they have broken us. The emperor slammed his staff against the floor. I will not be the ruler who laughs. And yet, a small chuckle escaped his lips. Just one. It echoed through the chamber, and for the first time in history, the most feared being in the galaxy laughed. The Empire had officially lost control. Far away, Zira watched the event unfold from her diplomatic ship. She smiled softly and opened a private channel to Aiden. You did it, she said. The Empire can no longer rule by fear. Your laughter infected their systems, their hearts, their minds. The galaxy is free. Aiden looked at the sky from Earth. Not me, Zira. Us. Every human who ever laughed at pain or made a joke in the dark, that's what saved us. Zira nodded slowly. You humans are strange. You fight with feelings instead of weapons. You turn fear into jokes and death into stories. The galaxy will never understand you. Aiden smirked. Good. That'll keep them on their toes. Weeks later, a new broadcast echoed across the stars. It wasn't from the Emperor. It was from Earth. Aiden appeared on the screen, smiling gently. To all who can hear this message, this is Dr. Aiden Cross of Earth. We don't want to conquer anyone. We don't want to rule. But we do have something powerful to share. It's called humor. It's called hope. And it's free. Behind him, people from every culture and country waved, laughing together. The broadcast carried across space like sunlight, reaching worlds that had never even known emotion. In the following months, something miraculous happened. Worlds once ruled by fear began to open schools of art and comedy. Alien children learned to smile. Galactic markets began selling Earth entertainment. Interstellar memes filled the networks. Laughter had become the new language of unity. Even Varan, once the cruel High Inquisitor, sent a message to Earth. Your people humiliated me, he admitted, but they also freed me. I no longer serve the Empire. I serve curiosity. And I may have started a comedy club. Aiden laughed so hard he nearly fell out of his chair. Guess we really did start a revolution, he said. But not everyone was happy. Deep in the shadows of Carthian, the Emperor sat alone in his silent chamber. The laughter had faded around him, leaving only his thoughts. He stared at a single glowing screen showing Earth's blue light. You may have won the galaxy's heart, he whispered, but I will find a way to silence your noise. His eyes gleamed coldly. Laughter cannot rule forever. Back on Earth, Aiden looked to the stars and felt something shift, a tension, a shadow behind the joy. He smiled softly and said to himself, then we'll just have to make them laugh again. The age of laughter had begun, but the next battle would be for its survival. The galaxy had changed. Once, it was a place of silence, fear, and obedience. Now, laughter echoed across the stars. But deep in the black heart of Carthian, the Emperor of the Galactic Empire sat in his empty throne room, watching the light of Earth on his screens, still burning bright. He had lost everything. His armies had fallen to joy. His systems infected by humor. His empire, once the most powerful in the universe, was now filled with music, art, and laughter. To him, it was chaos. To everyone else, it was freedom. But the Emperor was not done. If laughter is their weapon, he whispered, then silence will be mine. He raised his hand and activated the final hidden device, the Oblivion Array. Unlike the null resonator, this weapon did not erase emotion. It erased sound itself. Once fired, every world would fall into perfect silence. No laughter. No songs. No words. Just eternal quiet. The countdown began, 72 hours until activation. Back on Earth, Dr. Aiden Cross stood in his lab, unaware of the new danger. He was busy talking with alien diplomats who now visited Earth regularly. The sky above was filled with small alien ships, their crews laughing and trading stories with humans. For the first time in centuries, peace truly felt real. That's when Zira appeared on the holographic screen, her usually calm expression now full of panic. "Aiden," she said, "he's building something worse. The Emperor found the Oblivion Array. Once it fires, sound will die. Forever." Aiden froze. "You're saying no one will ever speak or laugh again?" "Yes. The entire galaxy would become mute." Aiden took a deep breath. "Then we stop him. Again." Zira hesitated. "You can't reach him by force. His world is sealed by silence. Even communication fails inside it." Aiden smiled faintly. "Then we'll reach him the same way we reached everyone else, with laughter." Within hours, Earth began its boldest mission yet, Operation Last Laugh. They couldn't send soldiers, but they could send sound. Every comedian, musician, and storyteller on Earth came together. They recorded everything: jokes, songs, laughter, memories, even babies' first giggles. The recordings were uploaded into a massive data stream aimed at Carthian. But Aiden wanted something more personal. He turned on the recorder and spoke softly. "Hey, Emperor. You think silence will save you? Let me tell you something about humans. We've lived through war, pain, and loss, but we always find a reason to laugh. Because laughter isn't noise, it's life." Then he laughed, genuine, warm, unstoppable. That laugh was added to the broadcast and launched toward the Empire. On Carthian, the Emperor watched the wave approach. "Fools," he said. "Sound cannot enter this world." But as the transmission reached orbit, the impossible happened. The signal did not stop. It vibrated through the planet's shield, not as sound, but as energy. Inside the palace, faint echoes began to form. At first, it was nothing more than static. Then it grew. A giggle. A chuckle. A human laugh, Aiden's laugh, echoing through the dark hallways of the Empire's core. The Emperor covered his ears, shouting, "No. I ended you. I erased your voice." But the sound grew stronger. Every corridor filled with it, every metal wall vibrated. Soon, the entire world of Carthian was shaking with laughter, not of mockery, but of life. The Emperor fell to his knees as the array systems overloaded. Lights flickered, alarms screamed, and the weapon began to melt under the pressure of the sound waves. And then, silence, followed by one last boom of laughter that shattered the palace roof. When the smoke cleared, Carthian was quiet again. But it was not the silence of death, it was peace. The Emperor was gone. In his place, alien citizens stepped out of hiding, free at last. Zira's voice came through Aiden's communicator. "It's over. The array is destroyed. The Empire is finished." Aiden let out a long sigh and smiled. "So, the galaxy is finally laughing with us, not at us." Zira chuckled softly. "You humans are strange creatures. You turned war into a comedy act, and somehow, you won." Aiden grinned. "Well, we always say, if you can't beat the problem, laugh at it." Weeks passed. The Galactic Council reformed, this time with humans as founding members. Earth was no longer a small, forgotten planet. It was the heart of galactic culture. Comedy networks broadcast across star systems. Alien comedians told human-style jokes. And in the center of the new galactic theater, a statue stood tall. A bronze sculpture of a man laughing at the stars, with the words engraved below. "The day humanity made the galaxy laugh." Aiden stood beside Zira during the ceremony. She looked at the statue and smiled. "What will you do now, Doctor?" He laughed. "I think I'll take a break. Maybe start a podcast. You know, something light." Zira rolled her eyes. "You humans never stop making noise." Aiden winked. "Exactly. That's why the universe can't ignore us." As the stars glittered above, A faint echo of laughter rippled across the cosmos. It wasn't human or alien, it was both. A shared sound, full of hope, humor, and the promise that as long as laughter existed, the galaxy would never fall into silence again. And somewhere, across the stars, a voice whispered softly, half amusement, half pride. The humans had the last laugh. The end.